So I guess everybody else is ready too. Got too many papers I'm shuffling here. So as we call the roll this morning, and I'm sure y'all have done this in some other committees, announce if you're in person or if you're in your office at the annex or if you're from your district. In order to vote in committee, you'll need to either be in person or in your office in the annex. So with that, we'll call the roll.
Representative Callaway.
Here in person.
Representative Dixon.
Here in person.
Representative Dossett.
Here in person.
Representative Pfister.
Here in person.
Representative Flood.
This morning from district here.
Representative Graham. Representative Imes.
Here in person.
Representative Kim King.
Yes, ma'am, in the room.
Representative Cook.
Here in the room.
Representative Cole Carney.
Here in my annex office.
Representative McPherson.
Here in the room.
Representative Meeks. Representative Pratt.
Here in the room.
Representative Rayburn. Representative Raymond. Representative Reed.
Here in the room.
Representative Stevenson. Representative Tate. Representative Thomas.
Here in the room.
Representative Tipton.
Present in the room.
Representative Hart.
Here in the room.
And Chairman Representative Heath.
Here in the room.
We have a quorum.
Thank you. We do have a quorum. I'm going to step to the table and carry the first bill, and our Vice Chair, Representative Mark Hart, will chair the meeting.
The floor is yours. Chairman Heath, whenever you're situated, the floor is yours.
Thank you. For the record, Representative Richard Heath, District 2, and I bring to you today House Bill 325. For those of you that were here in the 2020 session, we had House Bill 593. Does that help? I just got a signal like this. That's what my wife does when she can't hear me. So those of you that were here last year, Representative Gravis had introduced a bill, House Bill 593, that basically gave an outline for what was in a CBD oil bottle so that we could standardize the industry. And that bill passed this committee, it passed the House, and that's as far as it got. So I was a primary co-sponsor on that bill, and the Cabinet for Health and Family Services took the language of the bill and incorporated most of that into statute, and it's already in place. There was one thing they were not able to do, and that was to require a QR code to go on the bottle so that it could, anyone who wanted to could scan that code and find out, where it was grown and some other information on it. So what House Bill 325 is about today is just to allow for that QR code or require that QR code.
Have a motion on the bill to have a second on. Is there any questions? Or King was the first one. It was over here somewhere. Who was my second? It was over. Brad. All right. Is there? Does any representatives have any questions or any discussion? Go ahead.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you for bringing this. I think as much clarification we can get for our public and our friends at home, all the better. Can you remind me and the folks at home, what is the THC level of the cannabidiol oil?
Yes, it has to be 0.3 or less.
Thank you. Thank you
Yes.
for the clarification.
You're welcome.
Anybody else? If not, call the roll.
Representative Callaway,
Yes.
Representative Dixon,
Yes.
Representative Dossett,
Yes.
Representative Pfister,
Yes.
Representative Graham. Excuse me.
Yes.
Representative Hart,
Yes.
Representative Imes,
Yes.
Representative Kim King,
Yes, ma'am.
Representative Cook,
Yes.
Representative Kulkarni.
Yes.
Yes. Representative McPherson,
Yes.
Representative Meeks, Representative Pratt,
Yes.
Representative Rayburn, Representative Raymond,
Yes.
Representative Reed,
Yes.
Representative Stevenson, Representative Tate, Representative Thomas,
Aye.
Representative Tipton,
Yes.
and Chairman Heath.
Yes.
And
Oh, yeah. And motion passed will be reported favorably on the floor. And as Chairman Heath comes back up to take his throne, Mr. Reed, would you like to make it your way to the table?
Thank you, Representative Reed. And I have something to read, but I'll let you identify yourself for the record.
State Representative Brandon Reed, representing Greene, LaRue, and Marion counties, the 24th House District.
Thank you. So if the members will notice that the chair has posted House Simple Resolutions 3, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, and 45. And they're all listed on a piece of paper in your folder. So at the end of the consideration of these bills on the agenda, I'll ask for a motion and a second to report those resolutions with favorable expression, and we'll take a roll call on the resolutions as a whole. That way we can just vote on all of them at one time. And then if anyone would like to cast a no vote on any of the resolutions, then just communicate that with the committee assistant. Otherwise, all members present at today's meeting will be reflecting a voting yes on the committee reports for each of the resolutions. So I hope that's clear. Representative Reed, I think you had a comment on a couple of resolutions.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. This is our, the General Assembly, this is our annual simple resolutions acknowledging national days in agriculture through various entities.
Pull that mic closer.
Can you hear me? And so these are national days. These are already set, but we are acknowledging them through the General Assembly, and I appreciate the opportunity that we do this every year. HR 3 is National Ag Day, which is on March 23rd, 2021. HR 15 is recognizing National FFA Week, and this is National FFA Week, and I know a lot of members of this committee and a lot of members on the House floor have a background in the National FFA organization. We are very proud of that heritage. Mr. Chairman, if I can, we have State President Mallory White with us today on Zoom, and I think she has 2 or 3 minutes that she would like to talk about the Kentucky FFA Association and National FFA Week. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Welcome, Mallory. Can you hear us?
Yes, sir. Thank you very much.
Thank you for coming today.
Yes, of course. Hello, everyone. It is an honor to be speaking with you all today on behalf of the Kentucky FFA Association. I am Mallory White, serving as the 2020-2021 Kentucky State FFA President. I'm from Sturgis, Kentucky in Union County, and I couldn't be more grateful and humbled to serve both Kentucky FFA members and Kentucky agriculture this year. I've grown up on my family's row crop and beef cattle farm, so agriculture has always been a big part of my life. However, it wasn't until I joined FFA in high school that my eyes were opened to the vastness of this industry and all of its facets. I grew up hearing my dad, uncles, and cousins reminisce on all of the experiences they had had as FFA members, and knew from an early age that I wanted to get involved. But I would be lying if I said I knew what I was getting myself into. I remember sitting in the Union County High School auditorium at my very first FFA meeting and admiring the chapter president as she stood confidently behind a podium and tapped a gavel with assertion. Instantly, I was hooked. I'm not sure if it was the pride I felt while answering the question, FFA members, why are we here, with all of my peers, or if it was the rush of joy I felt zipping up a blue corduroy jacket for the very first time. But I knew that I had found my place, a place I could be myself, go outside of my comfort zone, and develop skills I never knew I could possess. I quickly became an FFA member, eager to participate in as many contests as I could convince my advisors to sign me up for, and to take advantage of every single opportunity possible so that I could build a solid network of both my peers and agricultural professionals whom I admired throughout the bluegrass. And I'm happy to say that I did just that. The people who I met throughout my FFA journey have become some of my closest friends, my biggest role models, and my sincerest supporters. People are what made my journey special. So the people are who I am here now, serving in this capacity to represent. I am just one of Kentucky's over 14,000 FFA members who are celebrating the organization they call home this week during National FFA Week. This is a week dedicated to both cherishing our traditions and to preparing young Kentuckians for the pursuit of a modern agricultural life. This week, chapters across the Commonwealth are hosting events to recognize this important week despite the challenges the impending pandemic has posed. We know that Kentucky's farmers haven't ceased to provide for us, so we are continuing to advocate for them. Through any adversity we have encountered, we have not lost sight of our purpose, although our methods may have changed. After zipping up a corduroy jacket and this year adjusting my mask more times than I can count, I'm confident in telling you that FFA truly fulfills its mission to make a positive difference in the lives of its members through premier leadership, personal growth, and career success through agricultural education. Your continued and purposeful efforts in preserving and advancing Kentucky agriculture make us proud to say the Pledge of Allegiance at meetings with a blue jacket on our backs. Thank you for acknowledging not only how important Kentucky agriculture is, but also how important its future is. Kentucky FFA members are the future leaders of this industry, and each and every one of you have left us with big shoes to fill. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Well done. And as you were describing some of your first experiences, it took me back to my freshman year as an ag student and FFA member, and we appreciate that. I'm sure it brought back some memories for a lot of people.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much for the opportunity to share.
And Representative Dossett has a question or comment.
Yes, Mr. Chairman. I think it would be important for Mallory to know how many of the members here on this Ag Committee have actually been were members of FFA while we were in school.
I thought the same thing was do a show of hands. Probably half of us. So, thank you. And Representative Timpton has a question or comment.
Thank you, Mallory. I appreciate you being here today. As you were sharing your experiences in FFA, well, first off, if your last name's White and you're from Union County, I suspect I know your roots. But besides that, my sophomore year in high school, of course, I was in the FFA chapter, and there was a young lady who joined the FFA chapter as a freshman that year. She was the first young lady to ever be a member of the Taylorsville chapter of FFA. My senior year in '77, I was chapter president, and the very next year she was chapter president. Could you share a little bit about how FFA is open to young ladies and how you feel like they contribute? And you know, typically people think of agriculture as being a male-dominated industry, but could you share your insight a little bit about the role of how you see yourself and other young ladies in the agricultural field going forward?
Yes, sir, absolutely. If you look at our state officer team this year, actually, it's comprised of 10 young women and 2 young men. So our officer team is female dominated, while the industry may seem to be male dominated. And in Kentucky FFA, we actually have a higher percentage of members who are female than male. Young ladies, I've never once felt excluded in this organization. If anything, I've been empowered by all of the young female agriculturalists who have come before me and who are active in the association presently. And so FFA is a organization that offers opportunity for all of its members, no matter their demographics. FFA 100% supports women in agriculture and STEM and advocates for them taking positions, officer roles in the organization, obviously, and furthering their careers in agriculture, and is supportive and truly provides opportunities for them to compete, to hold leadership positions, and to grow both their personal and professional selves. Thank you.
Representative Reed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Thank you, committee, for making the state president feel welcome. Mallory, I hope you have a wonderful year. As a past state FFA president to you, I served in 99 and 2000. I don't think you was born yet. So I'm officially a has-been. You know what that term means. You're fixing to experience it next year, but I'm officially a has-been. But you all have a wonderful year. I know this year has some circumstances that you all are overcoming like we knew you would. Thank you for coming in today through Zoom, and thank you for all you do for Kentucky FFA. Appreciate it.
Yes, Representative, thank you.
Mr. Chairman, as we move on, H.R. 16 recognizes National Beef Month in May. H.R. 17 recognizes National Pork Month in October. H.R. 18 recognizes National Chicken Month in September. H.R. 19 recognizes our Dairy Farmers National Dairy Month in June. H.R. 20 recognizes National Soybean Month of April of this year. And Mr. Chairman, I'd like to just stop for a second on H.R. 45. This is a new venture by the Kentucky Farm Bureau Federation. The Generation Bridge program will enhance the Kentucky Farm Bureau mission by cultivating new and rising leaders between the ages of 36 and 49 through opportunities and grassroots involvement in the Kentucky Farm Bureau. Had the opportunity, along with Commissioner Quarles, to speak with this group yesterday. A lot of bright young minds bringing some leadership to the table and stepping up. So we're proud of this committee to do this HR Resolution 45 for them this year. And Mr. Chairman, I think that concludes the resolutions.
We'll proceed to vote then if there's no question or comment. Any questions about my earlier statement? It's the first time we've done it this way, so. All right. We'll call the roll. Yeah, I guess we need a motion and a second. That's better. Representative Hart has the motion, and Representative Pratt has a second. Thank you for keeping us in order.
Representative Callaway,
Yes.
Representative Dixon,
Yes.
Representative Dossett,
Yes.
Representative Pfister,
Yes.
Representative Graham, Representative Hart,
Yes.
Representative Imes,
Yes.
Representative Kim King,
Yes, ma'am.
Representative Cook, Representative Kulkarni,
Yes.
Representative McPherson,
Yes.
Representative Pratt,
Yes.
Representative Rayburn, Representative Raymond,
Yes, but I'd like to be a no on HR 45, please.
Representative Reed,
Yes.
Representative Stevenson, Representative Tate, Representative Thomas,
Aye.
Representative Tipton,
Mr. Chair, could I briefly explain my vote?
Yes.
Mr. Chairman, Representative Reed, thank you for bringing these resolutions this year. I could comment on all these commodity organizations, but last week and the week before, we suffered some very severe weather here in Kentucky, and we acknowledged our transportation workers, rightfully so, our first responders and out, but the farmers who provide the food and fiber for us in the world, they were out there in those elements, taking care of those animals. I remember very vividly in 1994, I was milking 100 cows. We had 22 inches of snow and it was cold. So I truly appreciate their efforts and very, very gladly vote yes today.
And Chairman Heath.
Yes.
Passes.
So passes with favorable expression. So if you'll remain at the table, Representative Reed, and we'll invite your guest up and allow Steve to introduce himself for the record.
Thank you, Chairman. Steve Kelly, currently contract lobbyist.
Thank you, and the floor is yours, gentlemen.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, we have a committee sub. I move to adopt the committee sub.
Motion, do we have a second?
Second.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed, nay. Committee sub passed.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. The committee sub just simply takes out the surcharge option, and there's a technical change in there. HB 518, sponsored by our chairman, Chairman Heath, and myself, is the provisions of this bill uniquely addresses the necessity for operating the Kentucky State Fair Board in an independent corporate-like manner while incorporating legislative and executive branch oversight.
Motion on House Bill 518 as amended by committee sub.
We have a motion by Representative McPherson, second by Representative Pratt. We do have some questions. Representative Raymond.
Hi, thank you. Really, could you explain to me the thinking in bringing this? I'm wondering what's broken with the State Fair Board that needs fixing, and what would look different in a couple of years when the majority of members were appointed by the Commissioner of Agriculture rather than the governor.
As I stated, first of all, Chairman, thanks for allowing me to be here. For the members on this committee that's been around for a while, I probably am not a stranger, but as I look around, there's a lot of new members here. How I got involved with this bill, before I answer your question, just a background. As many of you know that's been around, I mean, I was a retiree from state government, spent 19 years in transportation, but then after that, I had the opportunity to spend 8 years with the Department of Ag as in an executive director and deputy commissioner role. After that time, or during that time, I had the opportunity to serve as the commissioner's designee on the State Fair Board. After that, I actually went to work at the Fair Board as an executive director. So I've kind of seen this from all angles. But I was brought in to work on this bill basically by some former board members and to, I guess, put my input in on what I saw during that time as both the Department of Ag, as a sitting member on the board, as an employee of the Fair Board. And this is really a result of some of the issues that we've seen happen there. It's not at a particular administration by no means. It's not this one. I mean, I retired under the previous one because of some of these very issues. It's just difficult to do business. So as we looked at this, for one, we wanted to keep the ag influence there. I mean, ag has always been a very prominent influence with especially the fairgrounds. That brings in the majority of their revenue are the ag programs or the ag events that happen there that are produced by the Fair Board. That's obviously the State Fair, the World Championship Horse Show, North American, and the Farm Machinery Show. So part of what the driving force of this bill is we wanted to make sure that we kept that ag influence at the facility. The other part of the bill is, and this is not completely unique in my opinion, working in several different agencies throughout state government, the complications that you run into whether it's purchasing or trying to contract, this is a unique facility. I mean, the economic impact that it brings to not only Louisville, but to the entire state. You have a board in place and a CEO in place that needs to be allowed to make some of the decisions. This bill actually tries to take some of that politics out. It divides the appointments with both the governor's office and the commissioner of ag, but it also clarifies a lot of the authorities that board and the CEO that runs that facility should have. So to answer your question, we felt like that some of these things did need to be addressed. I mean, that's the purpose of the bill, which was what your question, why do we need to fix something that you didn't feel was broken? We felt there was some issues. We felt that there's too much politics involved. We wanted to take some of that out. We also felt that it was important, and you can see in some of the changes, that we wanted a member of both the House and the Senate have a seat on this board so they can see firsthand what what the board actually is included in or not included in currently. So we felt like that was another important change, that the General Assembly would have a member of each chamber on there to see firsthand how things are being ran.
Thank you. Representative Graham has a question or comment. Is your mic on?
I just want to follow up on the comments that you just made about taking the politics out of this. You're not taking it out of this. What you're doing, you're stripping the governor of responsibilities that all governors previous had in terms of appointing this board, and yet you're saying you still want the president of the Senate to be an ex officio member and the Speaker of the House to be an ex officio member. That's politics. That's plain politics. And I understand, I'm a little bit frustrated because we see, I'm in committees, state government, this committee, I'm seeing what's happening, and the public knows what's happening, is that the governor's powers are being stripped because it's a political maneuver. And the people of this Commonwealth voted for him, and we've never had this kind of stripping of power of the executive branch of government. And I'm just very disappointed in how we are proceeding with these measures. Thank you,
If
Mr.
I
Chairman.
could weigh in on that just briefly, and I'll come back to you. Let me, I guess, point out some of the importance of that facility. Each year, the State Fair Board Properties contributes an estimated $500 million in economic impact to the Commonwealth. Each year, the facility generates over $40 million in tax revenue to state and local government, the vast majority going to Kentucky state government. 2/3 of the hotel tax collected in Louisville Convention and Visitors Bureau is attributed to events at the State Fair facilities. Annually, the State Fair generates $50 million in operating revenue. And according to an article in the Courier Journal in January 15th of 2020, of the top 15 events held in Louisville, 14 were held at the State Fair Board properties. This is a $50 million industry. It needs to be run like a business. And it's not just this administration. It was previous administrations. You can imagine the frustration of a chief executive officer whenever for years a new person comes in and says, well, I don't know what y'all been doing in the past, but this is what we're going to do in the future. And it breaks that continuity and it disrupts business as usual. So that needs to go away. And that's what this bill does. And I'll pass it back to you guys.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I appreciate those remarks, and we're not stripping the executive branch of responsibilities. We're actually diversifying. The Commissioner of Agriculture is an executive officer, a constitutional officer of this Commonwealth.
Yes, Representative
I think you just made the argument, Mr. Chairman, that it has not been broken with the success that we've had over a period of time. So your argument really fits what I was saying in terms of having the chief executive officer, who is the governor of the Commonwealth, and that in the past as well as right now, that over a period of time, they have been very successful in terms of attracting people into the fairgrounds and the participation of different organizations that have come through and been involved with the fairgrounds. So I think your argument really sums up what I have stated, is that it has not been broken, and why are we changing the process in terms of who will be responsible for the fairgrounds operation. But
in my defense,
we can agree to disagree, but I think this is a bad precedent that we're setting. Not only for this administration, but those that come in the future.
In my defense, I think the success of the Fair Board has been in spite of having a new governor every 4 years and coming in and mixing up things. instead of because of having a new governor every 4 years. Representative Pratt.
Thank you, gentlemen. I will agree this is necessary. I'm going to tell you why it's necessary. For those of you who went to the fair this year when we had our committee meeting there, the brand new the chairman of the fair board, on his own, 2 months on the job, without so much as a input from any of the fair board members, closed the fair board down, would not answer my questions. And when I asked him a direct question, why are we closed down, but the water park next door is going to be open on 7 acres with 2,600 people, and you allow 0 people here at the state fair, and he got up and left the room. That's why we need to keep the politics out of this. We need people that run businesses making these decisions, not somebody appointed by somebody and doing the bidding. Thank you, gentlemen.
Representative Stevenson.
Thank you. So doing my math here, so I see that we're removing the governor and we're taking him down from 10 appointees to 3. And I guess the argument of we're wanting to take the politics out of it, we don't want somebody being in control who is elected every 4 years would hold more merit if you were switching it to somebody who also is elected or is not also elected every 4 years. By doing it from the governor to the commissioner of agriculture, like that's trading apples for apples instead of apples for oranges. So I guess that's where my confusion is coming in.
You are correct that this would allow the commissioner of ag to have, well, at-large members, only one more appointee than the governor, and that goes back to my original statement. Myself and the members who worked on this legislation, former board members, all felt that agriculture influence at that facility was most important to us, and we hope the members of this committee agree with us that agriculture should be kept in focus at that facility.
I see no one else with a comment or a question, so we'll take the vote.
Representative Callaway,
Yes.
Representative Dixon,
Yes.
Representative Dossett,
Yes.
Representative Pfister,
Yes.
Representative Graham,
No.
Representative Hart,
Yes.
Representative Imes,
Yes.
Representative Kim King,
Yes, ma'am, and I'm glad it has an emergency clause. Thank you.
Representative Cook,
Yes.
Representative Kulkarni,
Pass.
Representative McPherson,
Yes.
Representative Meeks, Representative Pratt,
Yes.
Representative Rayburn, Representative Raymond.
I vote no. I'd like to explain. I don't think it's an explicit goal of this shift, but I think a result you'll see is a reduction in Louisville's influence in Louisville's biggest event. So I'm a no.
Representative Reed,
Yes.
Representative Stevenson, no. Representative Tate, yes. Representative Thomas,
Aye.
Representative Tipton,
Yes.
and Chairman Heath.
Yes. Passes with favorable expression. Same should pass on the House floor.
Motion on the title amendment.
We have a motion on the title, second. Second by Representative Cook. All in favor signify by saying aye. Any opposed, nay? Title amendment passed, and we have someone who needs to cast a vote. Representative Raymond? Rayburn, I'm sorry. Are you on mute? If anybody has her number, send a text or call her. See if she can get back on and cast her vote.
Put her on speakerphone.
Well, no, I probably need her to.
You guys hear me now?
No.
Yay! Okay, gotta love technology. So I want to make sure that I've recorded a vote for HB 518. I'd said it right in the middle of her saying Raymond's name, Representative Raymond's name, and then I would. That's a yes vote. And then I would also like to record a yes vote for HR, all the HRs that we voted on today as well.
And what about 325?
Okay, you kind of faded out on us. A yes vote on the 518 we got, and then all the resolutions. What about those?
Yes,
Yes
those were
on-
yes votes.
Okay. And then House Bill 325, the QR code.
Yes, that's a yes vote as well.
Everything's yes. Thank you for coming back on.
Thank you.
Anybody else that we missed a vote on? Anybody else remote that we've missed? I think we're good. With that, a meeting is adjourned.